Don't forget to push the button.
I know. Oh, yeah.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us here and at home. Hey, clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Dixon?
Here.
Commissioner Weeding? Commissioner Walsh?
Here.
Commissioner Michael?
Here.
Mayor Lyons?
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right. Next on the agenda is public comment. If you have public comment, come up 3 minutes. Please state your name and address and try to stick with what's on the agenda. All right. Anybody for public comment? All right, we'll move on to the next item in the agenda. Okay, the next thing on our agenda is our public hearing. So we'll propose our annual budget for the city of Braidwood, the fiscal year beginning May 1, 2026 until the end of April 30th, 2027. I'm going to need a request a motion for it to go into an open public meeting.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Commissioner Michael?
Yes.
Commissioner Dixon?
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh?
Yes.
Mayor Lyons?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, so before we go into it, I just have a quick statement, a budget statement. So over the last 12 months, we worked diligently to turn our vision into actions. I am proud to have Steve, you're going to present the budget, right, Steve?
Correct.
Okay, Steve is going to present our first budget for the city of Braidwood. The budget process was a collaborative effort. We held budget workshops with all the departments and maintained open communication with elected officials throughout. I would like to extend a special thanks to Liz Dixon, our department heads, and our consultants. Without their passion and commitment to Braidwood, we would have not achieved a balanced budget focused on reinvesting in our community. We began this journey, we outlined a clear vision for our community to improve our parks, to invest in aging infrastructure, and to enhance our public safety, and to ensure our employees have the tools they need to effectively serve our residents. We are pleased to say that the 2026-2000 budget delivers on those commitments. Public safety remains a top priority. This budget includes funding to hire an additional police officer, building on the position added last year. These hires will bring our total number of full-time uniform officers to 15. That's restoring staffing levels and strengthens our ability to protect and serve our community. We are also making meaningful investments in our parks and our recreational space. This includes $300,000 for development for a new dog park at Osmoky, and hopefully we can fund pickleball courts, is what this council's goal is. As well as more than $60,000 for our grocery tax revenue dedicated to improving our existing parks and supporting the development of our new ones. In addition, we have allocated over $2 million toward capital improvements. These funds will support critical projects such as street resurfacing, installation of new water lines to meet fire suppression needs, upgrades to our treatment plant, repairs to our deteriorating roofs on City Hall, the police department, improve the salt dome and the flat roofs on Public Works campus, and for sidewalk extensions and repairs throughout the city. This budget reflects our commitment to responsible investment and long-term planning, which is consistent with our master plan in improving the quality of life for all the residents of Braidwood. So with that being said, we're going to open up for public comment.
No, we have to present
Oh, wait.
first.
I'm sorry.
Present the budget first.
Present the budget first. My bad.
Is that me?
Yes, you.
Bear with me, I'm gonna have Liz chime in here if I'm stumped on some questions. If some things don't make sense, I'm gonna have Liz chime in or anybody chime in on the questions. So first, just wanna kind of clarify, we're gonna have two different budget discussions here today. So by law, the budget had to be on display for the public, right? We have to do that for a certain period of time. So the budget that was on display is what I'm gonna talk about, and we made some changes to that budget. The bottom line's the same. We made some changes to the budget as far as line items go. So we kind of bifurcated the water and sewer projects into sewer and water specifically rather than just doing underwater. So we want to be more transparent on how those two funds are being allocated, or those two line items are being allocated. So I'm gonna talk about the budget that was on display, and I'm gonna talk about the budget that Liz put together that's before you right now. And Liz did a great job of putting together summaries and used templates, and it was a lot of hard work and a lot of effort by Liz and by the entire staff, as the mayor had said. So I think it's a very good budget for Braidwood. I've been involved in 35 municipal budgets. I think it's a very good budget for Braidwood. It reinvests back into Braidwood and back into the citizens, and I think that's so important that government does that. So, I'm gonna get screwed up on the pages here, so bear with me on some of these things. So, the first page on the proposed budget, and the first page after the table of contents on the budget package that Liz gave you. So there is a difference. So if you see on there, on the left-hand side, it says TIF fund balance, $220,260,000. If you see that. On the budget display, that was not in there, it was a typo. So what this is reflecting from the proposed budget that was on display to the budget that you're gonna pass tonight has that $220,000 in change. That's the money we're spending from TIF in this proposed budget. There was a typo and it was omitted from the budget that was on display. So the bottom line only changes on the display budget versus the budget that Liz gave you is by $220,260,000. So the budget that was on display shows $15,945,150. The budget that's before you is $16,165,410, which includes that $220,000 that's being spent out of the TIF fund that's being demonstrated on the overall expenditures and revenues. So we're taking that 220 as a revenue to compensate for the 220 expenditure, so it balances. Any questions on that? So without going through all of the breakdown, I mean, we can get into each line item. It's up to you what you want me to do. The next page is on the proposed budget that was on display. Talks about the property tax revenue. It talks about the other taxes and how we arrived at our revenue. So our revenues for this year are $12,979,150. In 2026, the revenues were $11,452,000 and change, and in FY25, $11,232,000 and change. So there's approximately $1.5 million in revenue. Our expenditures, if you notice, are much greater. The expenditures in 25 are $9,180,000 in 225. In 2026, $11,859,000, and this year $16,165,000. And the reason why that is the difference of $3,201,000 is because of the reinvestment that the mayor talked about. We're taking dollars from the existing fund balances in water and sewer, in TIF, and in motor fuel tax, and we are funding the projects that we'll talk about, the projects that Dale and I and Warren went through when we met and discussed those projects. That's how we're funding those projects, through a capital budget that was created to balance the budget. Any questions there? And from what was displayed to what is being presented, there is no changes in that. The only changes in the display budget versus the budget that you're going to approve tonight or consider tonight is within the capital budget and with that $220,000 TIF money being omitted in the initial budget compared to this budget. So as we move, all other funds overview, it tells you where the revenues are coming from our funds, what funds are being used. And the enterprise fund, for those who don't understand, the enterprise fund is our water and sewer fund. Any water and sewer projects have to come out of that enterprise fund. It tells you where our revenues are coming in: motor fuel tax, TIF districts, debt service, capital projects, FICA liability audit, and IMRF. Moving along. If there's any questions, please stop me and jump right in if I'm moving too fast. General fund overview. Again, this is talking about the general fund from a budgeting perspective. Your general fund is your meat and potatoes fund, right? Your general fund is your police, it's your streets, it's administration, it's planning and zoning, it's your meat and potatoes fund. So when anybody talks about municipal government, you want to make sure your municipal fund is always balanced. Your water and sewer funds, your TIF fund, your MFT fund, they are separate funds. And you can spend more money on those projects because you have fund balances. So you want to make sure that your corporate fund or your general fund is always balanced. This budget balances the corporate fund. And because of the fund balances we have in the selective funds or restricted funds, we're showing we're spending more money than we're taking in, again, because of the fund balance. So general fund, you see it balances. And we move on. So the last thing I comment on the fund balance, and I apologize, is that, so 2026, the fund balance was at 5.57 million. This year fund balance is at 5.72215. So our general fund is only $2,000 more than it was last year. That includes the raises, health insurance, IMRF, it counts, all of those type things. And there's a breakdown on how we arrived at all those dollars. The next page heading, it says City of Braidwood Budget 2027. It talks about the administration line item. Without breaking that down, it talks about the grocery tax being paid to the Park District, the coalition grant payouts, and for the city consultant, which I'm not that expensive. That was a joke.
And Steve, all,
Yeah, go ahead.
all union employees will receive a 3% raise.
Or whatever their contract says, right?
When their contract is 3%.
Yeah.
And that was all factored into, when we see payroll there, that's factored in.
Factored in.
Steve, the 60,000 grocery tax, do we think it's gonna be that high?
Yeah, so we were very conservative. So we met with several people. We talked to Burcott's, we talked to other people and said, hey, what do you think the grocery tax is gonna be? Getting Mastodon online, right? So Mastodon has a lot of sales going on. We'll have a lot of sales going on. So we kind of took that into consideration. And also, Sarah, you can kind of talk about this a little bit. The way they break down the grocery tax now is a little different. They're doing a different formula with the states. As far as the use tax and so forth. I put you on the spot.
You did, and I'm trying to get my brain moving in that aspect.
So it's a different formula that they're using without putting Sarah on the spot. So it's a
Yes.
different formula that they're using. So we feel comfortable it's gonna be 60 grand. Now, it could be less, it could be more. It's kind of an educated guess. I'm sorry, Sarah.
No, I wasn't thinking of grocery stuff right now.
That's right. So the next one's police department. We can break that down, salary and wages, contractual services, commodities, and capital projects. Chief, you want to talk about just briefly how we redid the police budget and broke it down into different, it's a totally different way of budgeting. The dollar amounts are still there, but you broke it down to overtime and patrol. You kind of want to give a brief discussion how you broke that down?
Yeah, sure, Steve. So made it sort of a quasi-program budget. Took it and started to break this down into programs or divisions, patrol division, investigations division, records division, administration. And then within each division, separate out specific overtime types to help better track our spending and then help better prepare for more accurate budgets in future fiscal years. It's hard to really know where we're spending all the overtime. It's all bunched into one big overtime bucket. So I think it's important to look at it by division, and then within each division, by type of overtime, whether it's spent on court or, the night shift, the day shift, training. So broke it down that way just to more accurately track and then better prepare for future budgets. I think next year, I know I'm going to propose even make it look a little bit different, so even more broke down, easier to track, as long as they don't drive Commissioner Dix too crazy with this request. But it was good work with her and the accountant and Steve and the mayor, starting to break this down with what I'm more comfortable with.
And we are adding one new police officer to the budget. So that's, I think, 2 total since last year.
Correct.
So last year was 13, and at the end of this year, we will have 15, barring any retirements or lateral transfers.
The 3 we just hired, I think 2 were
2 replaced officers we
replacing
lost.
officers that left, yeah.
Right.
Correct. There's 1 additional officer. 15 is a really good staffing number for our police department at this time with the demands of the city. It's a nice number to be at.
And we did not budget for any squad cars this year. The police have received some squad cars in the past. We thought we needed to pull back on the squad cars this year and look at next year's budget and see if we can afford to replace some of the squad cars next year. And again, budget detail, some really good comments down there that Liz has put together on where the money's being spent. And then the subsequent pages are all breakdown of what Chief talked about and how we broke it down between overtime and divisions and all the things that Chief talked about. And there was no change from that budget to the one that was posted. There is no changes. Street Department. Just as the next one, a couple pages back. Again, there's no difference in the street department in the budget as compared to what was posted. We can just go through all that. You can see that the salaries, the engineering, the commodities, capital projects, and total streets. We are not buying any new equipment out of the streets. And we looked at some of the employees in the streets that do more water work in the water department, so it's kind of a little different budgeting there. The street department does a lot of water and sewer work because we have a lot of cross-trained employees, and it's reflective of that change.
In this budget for salaries, there's 5 full-time employees.
And that's what they're at now, right?
Yep.
Any questions?
Yes, Steve,
You got it.
you mentioned the budget earlier, that there was a note early on about the MFT funds, or
Yes.
the reason why it's less than the 26 budget.
No. So the budget that was proposed, that was on display had a typo. So we had, by law, we have to tell you that to make sure that you understand that what was on display is being changed once you vote on this budget. So the 220 was added back into the budget, and so that's the difference.
It wasn't MFT.
It was
it's
TIF.
TIF.
It was TIF, it was not MFG.
Oh, tip, okay.
Correct, it was
And that
TIF.
was mentioned earlier on.
That is correct.
First couple pages.
Yes,
I did have another question.
Absolutely.
for everybody. Just tools and equipment, it's got 0. If we're going to need tools and equipment, where does that come from? Where do we get
We
that
got
money?
$60,000 for equipment.
I'm just looking at the line item here, under tree trimming uniforms, tools and equipment, it's just blank. Where is that 60?
I see what you're talking about, yeah, I absolutely see what you're talking about.
Well, it would be,
I see, let's see, I see capital projects at
It's
60.
60, but that's something.
Equipment and infrastructure on that first page.
So Liz, did we combine line items on that?
we might have, I think we did.
Because it was supposed to be 50, so maybe it was 10,000. Because we were talking about capital projects to budget 50,000.
No, these are for the street signs.
Pardon me?
Oh, okay.
Yep,
The-
the infrastructure is for the street signs, the 50 grand. If you look at the, go beyond, go into the line by line,
Mm-hmm.
and if you look at the last page of the streets,
Mhm.
it's 60,000, and that's 10,000 for a new PTO deck, and 50,000 for the street signs. You're not on the right.
Okay, so that 60 is accounted for.
Yes,
But I'm asking about tools and equipment.
I know you're asking about.
That's not a street sign and that's not a PTO deck.
Yeah, I know.
This is other things that just
I
come
know,
up.
I know exactly what tools and equipment are. I worked in a hardware store for 15
Okay.
years.
All right. I'm just wondering where we get that.
Yeah, where
money,
would it come out of? if you-
Yeah,
When we need it, because we're going to
Well,
need it.
I don't know why it says 0, to be truthful with you. It could have been a typo.
Yeah, what was it? The budget I'm looking at, what was it last year? What did we budget for that?
So Dale, there was $10,000 in there last year in the 26 budget, 25-26
Mhm.
budget.
Yeah, I
Uh,
don't have last year's.
Yeah, no, so we will work on that, put $10,000 back in there. And we will adjust it, to make sure it balances. So we'll add 10 in there and adjust the line items to make it balance.
Okay.
So in the change, this is great conversation. So in the budget, it'll be $10,000 more when we approve the budget, for streets, for, tools and equipment, for supply, for tools and equipment. Good catch, Dale.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, next is ESDA, line item. 26 budget was 16.2, the 27 proposed budget is 18.2. And you can see how we came with that dollar amount. Little increase in building, in utilities, increase in some building maintenance, increase in, some other things, so. That's public properties, my bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say, why is
Yeah,
that?
that's public properties.
Yeah.
So a little increase, for public properties is 18.5 compared to the 12.50, and you can see where the increases lie.
2 iPads.
That's.
Next one is recreational, line item. 26 was 150, this year is 300,000 because of dog park and potentially pickleball courts. I jumped ahead of myself, there's the breakdown for ESDA.
And public property.
And public properties, correct.
There's money in there to paint the food pantry.
That is the, okay, if you need a roof or something?
It needs a roof, but it's gonna have to wait till next year, because we're doing city hall this year.
All right, so next is the capital project. So you can see the capital project revenue, where the money's coming in from the fund balances. And then you can see where we're spending the capital project. So this is where there's a little discrepancy. The bottom line is the same. But what we did over the past week is we tried to be more transparent and more efficient with the water and sewer budget. So we broke out water projects and we broke out sewer projects. So from the dollar amounts, again, they don't change, but the individual line items are changing. And so from the budget that was on display is different than what you have in your packets because we broke out water projects and we broke out sewer projects rather than putting them all in one. So I'll go through that. So the infrastructure water is 910. Water main, general water main improvement is 165. Infrastructure sewer, in the budget that you saw on display had it kind of all locked together. Infrastructure sewer, 140. Infrastructure streets, 425. Other capital outlay, OSLA grant, interchange cleanup, building improvements, total capital $3,080,000. So let's go through that as far as what a breakdown is.
Also, Steve,
Good?
when this was set, Chris had put links in so that when you worked on the bottom, it would change on the top. Well, the links were broken. So when we changed it somewhere, it didn't change in the other spot. So the display budget is the one with the broken link. This is with the link fixed, so that everything comes out the way it should.
So let's go by different projects. So your capital project, security cameras, $50,000. We got that grant from Will County. That will do security cameras here at City Hall and the PD. Selfie wall at the zoo. I think people have seen the selfie wall. Looks beautiful. That will be paid out of this year's budget. Will be billed after May 1. Sidewalk replacement. This is the phase 1 of that grant. City Center OSLA grant, $1.3 million. Interchange cleanup, $45,000. Sewer improvements. Lighthouse Cove lift station, $100,000. Sewer spot repairs, $35,000. Storm sewer, $30,000. Smoke testing, $30,000. That's for the I&I project. Flow monitoring, which is for the I&I project, $70,000. And so just for the public, for their understanding, I&I is inflow and infiltration in your sanitary sewer system from water. So rainwater will inflow into your sanitary sewer pipes, and we have found that we are treating a lot of rainwater in our treatment plant. So in order to get a good understanding of how much we're treating, how much affluent sewer we're treating, we have to do a study and find out how much rainwater are we treating. And so we know this because we have to take out a bunch of gravel before it gets into the treatment plant, and we know that that's not sewer. So it's coming from the earth, which means we have several large infiltration of stormwater gravel into our sewer. And to be efficient, to save money, we have to do this project to find where the inflow and infiltration is at in order to fix these problems so we're not treating rainwater and gravel. Is that a good explanation, Sean?
Yes, ma'am.
Manhole inspections, manhole lining. So we put some money in the manhole lining. Once we understand where these are at, $50,000 is a very token amount. It could cost several $100,000 to manhole all of the leaks, but we're starting very slow until we identify. We threw $50,000 in there to maybe line the absolute worst, the most egregious inflow and infiltration areas. And then water main improvements, we have $800,000 to replace that West Eureka Walnut English water line where the 3 hydrants aren't working properly. And then we have $110,000 in there for a robust water meter replacement program.
before you move on, Steve?
Yes,
The
please.
OSLAD
Yes.
grant was 600,000.
Correct.
The match is 1.2 million, not 1.3. I'm just wondering why 1 million.
So we're gonna spend 1.3 versus the 1.2.
So the grant is 600,000.
Correct.
The match is 6, okay.
Right, so the match is 6,
So it's 100,000 more.
so it's 100,000 more, correct. And so I need to make sure we're doing everything properly here, to go over the capital expenditures that are a little bit different from what was posted on the website and what was posted here at City Hall. So what we had under capital projects, we had 910 for water, which is exactly the same. However, the difference is water main and infrastructure improvements were broken out, water and sewer, versus just infrastructure improvements. Capital outlay of 30,000 was broken out to water and sewer projects. The OSLA grant remains the same, and the 60,000 for the interchange. So how we broke it out is the 145 and the 210 are broken out differently in this budget. The bottom line is still the same. It's how we broke it out differently between water and sewer projects. Brian, is that sufficient?
Yes.
But the bottom line on capital outlay is still $3,080,000. That number has not changed from what was posted to what you're gonna consider tonight.
Steve, what's interchange cleanup?
So based on the Durazio agreement, Durazio and Bauer agreement, we're supposed to clean up those interchanges, so they have sight lines. We have quotes out from Homer Tree Service to clean them up. However, we do not have a permit yet from IDOT. So what's holding the project up is IDOT permits.
This is south of 113?
We're doing the south
South.
and north.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the agreement called for north and south
Northeast,
both.
but not northwest. For some reason, it's the northeast and south
East,
east.
Northeast and southeast.
that is correct. So going back to the mayor's initial budget statement, goes back to us investing into infrastructure, water and sewer, investing in recreation, invest in manhole lining and manhole testing, so we can save dollars in our treatment plant down the road and get a good indication of how much effluent we are treating. And adding new sidewalks in through the Safe Route, Safe School Sidewalk Program. Liz, did I miss anything?
No,
And the rest is kind of a breakdown of how we got to all those numbers.
I don't know if you did it on purpose, but you did miss zoning. You skipped through the zoning section.
Oh, did I? My bad. Is that before capital? It's after capital, okay.
No,
no.
right,
it's in
it was like the
administration
second or
part.
third fund.
All right. Zoning, there's no changes. How's that sound?
For the sake of getting on here before midnight.
I won't say anything. Zoning, got it. Nothing is really changing, the salaries are there. Commodities are $100. Contractual services, that's with engineering and our planner. And you can see the difference is because we are spending a little bit more money on salary and wages with our engineering and with Mora.
Okay, the salaries were never in the zoning. It was all in admin, and we moved them out of admin into zoning so we can get a better picture of what zoning is actually costing us.
Great point, that's a great point. Any questions? I mean, we could talk about how we broke some of these things down in the budget booklet. Water department, we can go through the detail on the water department. Contractual services, It talks about our revenue. It talks about our revenue projection from 26 to 27. Other revenues was 304,026, and we're projecting 735,000. And the reason why we did that is we're gonna up our fees to have people from like, we have companies coming in here all the time that dumps their sewer, and we charge them per load. And we're gonna do that differently. We're gonna charge them by per ton or per the amount of effluent that comes out. And so we're gonna generate some revenue for those companies coming in here.
And there's a way to measure that when there's?
Yeah, based on the size of the truck.
Okay. I have a question, Steve.
Yes.
The generators for the plant, for the water plant, were they in last
They
year?
were in last year's budget, correct.
Any on the board have any other questions?
The big thing that's coming out of water and sewer is, out of the water and sewer budget, is we're purchasing a VATCON. The old VATCON is about falling apart. We did look at doing about $100,000 worth of repairs to the current VATCON. And based on George and his team's analysis, and as well as Rob's analysis, we had a large debate on should we replace, should we fix? And it was determined after about, I'd say about 3 meetings, it was determined that we should not put good money on top of bad money, and just go, we can do a lease of a brand new that has a 4-year or 5-year warranty on it. We can lease it we can do a 4-year, 5-year lease, make payments, it'll be ours, and it's a 23,
demo.
George, remember it was a 23 or 24? 24,
It's a
It will be
demo.
ours after 5 years?
yes. It's ours right away, so it's like buying a car. We call it a lease payment, but it's ours. We do a lease buy purchase program, but it's like doing a car payment.
So in 5 years, we'll own
Correct.
the bank?
Yep.
Okay.
And that's everything. I just want to reiterate that we took a lot of input from the staff. Warren, his big project was the water mains, it was our big project as well. Your big project is streets, and make sure that the sewer plant is getting upgraded, and to make sure we're repairing the roofs and the salt dome. The mayor had some, big projects. I think we tried to meet everybody's vision and everybody's wish list. We didn't accomplish everything, but we got we got a good start on a lot of good projects. And the CIP plan will guide us for the next several years through our capital program. And I thank everybody that,
Yeah, big thanks to everybody that got involved with their input and
Absolutely.
understanding, hey, we can't give you everything you want, but we appreciate it, and we'll try to put it in the future plans. But there are some certain projects that needed to be done this year. There was a sense of urgency.
And I'd like to thank Public Works, because those guys come in here, first time they'd ever been to a budget meeting, had no clue what they were doing, and they sat and gave me input as to what they needed, what they wanted, and what they wished they could have. And we tried to, I think we hit all of them but one, so.
Same with the police department, right?
Oh,
They were happy.
Yes, sir.
he's never happy. Any questions? Any general questions? Things that we omitted that you'd like to see in there? So the only comment that I've heard is that 10 grand, so when we approve the budget, you'll be with that 10,000, we're not gonna change the bottom line. We'll just figure out what line items we'll take that 10 grand from and to put 10 grand in for tools. Because changing the bottom line kind of screws up a lot of things, to go back and redo that. But in the budget, we'll approve the line item change for 10 grand. We'll make the adjustments within the existing line items, not the bottom line. Is that good, Brian?
I would suggest if we're approving it with the 10K in there, that we should remove 10K from somewhere when we approve it.
We should remove it somewhere.
I think we should, otherwise you would have to amend it within the confines of the 10% administrative, budget revision.
That's under street, right?
If it's under 10, I believe it's under 10% of the fund, then you could make the administrative change, you know, tomorrow or 10 months from now. Without
Yeah, it's
having
under
that
10%.
So you could do that without including it.
All right, let's do that. I think it's easier if we did that way. Does that make sense?
Say it again?
So you can administratively change the budget without having to bring it to another vote, so long as it's, I believe, we'll have to double check the numbers, but I believe it's less than 10% of the total fund. You can administratively change it without having to come and amend the budget in a public vote. If it's more than that, you would have to amend it in the same process as you originally approved that.
Okay.
Well, it's coming out of the general fund, which the general fund's a $5 million fund, and this is 10 grand, so I think we can, yeah. So administratively, we'll do that, Dale, we'll sit down, I'll sit down with you and show you where it's coming from, or Liz.
All right. Again, thank you for those involved. Now I'm gonna open up to the public. Does anybody have any questions? Today, at least. Okay, good. Well, it sounds like you answered a lot of questions that maybe people had concerns about. Newspaper, do you have any questions? All right, I think we just looking for a motion now to end, the closed public hearing.
Yes.
I need a motion to close public hearing.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Commissioner Michael,
Yes.
Commissioner Dixon,
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh,
Yes.
Mayor Lyons,
Yes.
motion carries.
All right. Next up on the budget is, on the agenda, I'm sorry, the motion to approve ordinance 2624. It's approving the annual budget and appropriations for the city of Braidwood for the fiscal year beginning May 1st, 2026 and ending April 30th, 2027. Do I have a motion?
And I would include with that motion as amended and
As
as
amended, yeah.
presented in the packets provided to council today.
What he said.
Make sure that's in the resolution, as amended, for the packets.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Sorry, I'm still making notes.
Take your time.
Commissioner Dixon,
Yes.
Commissioner Michael,
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh.
Yes.
Mayor Lyons,
Yes.
motion carries.
All right. Next up on the agenda is approval of minutes. Need an agenda to approve the minutes for the regular meeting of the Braidwood City Council that took place on Tuesday, April 14th.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Commissioner Michael,
Yes.
Commissioner Dixon,
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh,
Yes.
Mayor Lyons,
Yes.
motion carries.
All right. Next on the agenda is going to be reports by city officials. I'm up first. I'm requesting a motion to approve the ordinance 26-25. It's authorizing myself, the mayor of Braidwood, to enter into and execute an intergovernmental agreement between the city of Braidwood and the Braidwood Park District regarding the grocery tax and the park infrastructure. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Commissioner Dixon,
Yes.
Commissioner Michael,
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh,
No.
Mayor Lyons,
Yes.
motion carries.
Real excited about that. Okay, next up on the, I need a request for a motion, resolution 2605, to approve pay increases for non-bargaining employees for the city of Braidwood.
And this was discussed in executive session 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Commissioner Michael,
Yes.
Commissioner Dixon,
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh,
Yes.
Mayor Lyons,
Yes.
motion carries.
Okay, just a couple things to report. Okay, I read my budget statement. Plants. I'd like to take a moment to recognize and thank you a few individuals who contributed their Saturday afternoon or Saturday morning in an effort of planting flowers in the flower pots on Main Street. Thank you, Karen Hart. Where are you at, Karen Hart? Raise your hand. Thank you. I'd like to thank my wife, Cheryl. She was at a boot after she broke her ankle, but she still come out and sucked it up and helped us plant flowers. So thank you, Cheryl, if you're at home watching this meeting. She is. All right, my dinner, have it warmed up at 9 o'clock for me, please. Wow. Our city clerk, Sarah. Thank you, Sarah. And we're gonna thank George, even though he was a late arrival. I think you got a couple of flowers planted. And our city consultant, Steve. I know he's a white collar guy, but his hands actually got a little dirty on Saturday. And he bought pizza for the volunteers. I also want to extend a special thank you. We did publicize on Facebook. We were looking for volunteers, and 2 young men that were Recuster High School students who stepped up and helped out. We truly appreciate their involvement. They did a great job, actually. And their willingness to serve the community. That's Josh Krager and Colin Hakey. They did a fantastic job. Thank you, guys. They have their paperwork. They got community service, too. Great job to those 2 boys, those 2 young men. What else? Oh.
And LaVale.
Oh, and I was there, too. So also, too, again, those who are not on social media, I like to talk about this selfie wall. So it's kind of like this is the Facebook post. I would like to extend a sincere thank you to everyone who played a role in the bringing the new Route 66 selfie wall to life. This is just in time for our weekend's red carpet corridor, which is a 100-year anniversary celebration. This project was brought to you by the Braidwood Area Healthy Community Coalition and the City of Braidwood. That was beautifully designed by Danita, who is the community outreach coordinator for the coalition. This wall itself, it was made by AJ Signs. They're located out of Wilmington. It's a beautiful sign. It turned out just great. Jeremy McPherson did the brickwork. Bob Williams poured the concrete. And then Ed Pagliano and Alex Serena hung the sign. This project was made possible through some support from the Union Pacific Community Ties Grant, where they contributed some grant money, and then we are going to pay for the rest. Not that I'm a connoisseur of this Route 66, but I just didn't realize once we got involved how big of a deal this was. I started looking at Facebook pages of Route 66, and when Danita first came up with this idea of this selfie wall, I thought to myself, okay, sounds all right. And then we had mentioned it to Steve, and Steve's like, hey, this is a great idea. I'm a visual guy, so I like to see things. When I go through other towns and other communities, I'll stop and I'll take a picture. I'm like, hey, this would be great in our town. I'd love to see this in our town. I didn't know what to envision of what a selfie wall, for some reason, would look like. And so as time went on, and she started sending emails and started getting excited about this project, and it was moving forward, she started sending me pictures. I'm like, you know what, this is actually turning out pretty nice. Until you drive by and actually see this thing in person, it's gorgeous. Great job for getting this thing going. Steve, thank you for talking me into it. You know, I mean, at first I was like, okay, it's selfie wall. Hey, it's awesome. I'm so glad we got it. I think we're going to be in catalogs throughout the country for this Route 66. It's beautiful. And it's exciting, especially with this weekend coming up. So again, thank you to all those people involved. Things are going great. They're going in the right direction. It's exciting. It's exciting. So thank you.
I have a question here. Lighting, is there plan for lighting?
There is.
Yes.
So maybe we talked about this,
Okay.
and me and you didn't. So
Yes, so Danita, you probably have a better update than I have on the electricity. I know that they planned for it and backlight. Do you have an update on the electrician?
The electrician did pick out some lighting that would look really good. It kind of goes up and it curves over. And it's kind of like this old school lighting, but unfortunately we couldn't get it done for red carpet, so we have not begun that process yet, because there has to be conduit put in.
So it's gonna be on top of the pillars? Is that where the lights are?
Up and over.
Oh, up and over. Okay, so
Like
it's
a
shining on
backlight.
this. Okay. Okay, and then Steve lined up some landscapers, so we're gonna landscape around it, and that's gonna be done for the weekend.
Yeah, just, we're not gonna put gravel down, we were gonna put gravel, but because we couldn't get gravel, doing some mulch, and we're cleaning up the mulch bed underneath the existing sign. Just again, because we have a lot of people there, so.
Yeah.
I gotta talk to George and Scotty on 2 more things.
There were people taking pictures in
Yeah.
front of it last night in the rain.
Were they really?
Yes.
That's awesome.
So we wanna do it, and I don't even know if it's possible, somebody's come up with ideas, but we want a little CRQ code or something, or QR code, and, apologize. And what we can do is maybe create an own Facebook page, and then people can scan their selfies. We have to approve them before they go on the page. You know, so if this is all possible, these are what people are saying to me. I like the idea, I just don't know if it can be done yet. I mean, obviously, we don't want it open to the public where they can post any picture on a Facebook page, but I think it's a great idea. Is that your idea or no?
It's your wife's.
My wife's, okay, she comes up with some good ideas.
She does. My daughter-in-law actually came up with one too, because she tried to take a selfie, but you can't unless you have like a painted picture.
Because it's so
With
big?
a timer, like, over,
Yeah.
yeah. For those that don't have someone to take the picture.
But again, thank you, it's gorgeous. Yeah, to see it in person is gorgeous. So I think that summarizes mine. Okay, city management consultant, Steve, you're up next.
Thank you. First 2 items is request a motion to approve ordinance 2026, amending the city of Braidwood's Code of Ordinances as pertains to professional fee agreements. This is what we talked about last time. We did omit the $100 on there, so the $100 is off. And Brian redid the ordinance, and it reflects that any project that the city would incur money from allows us to get reimbursed for outside services, such as being a technical, Sean, or whatever we have to do. Before it was just only for PUDs or larger projects.
I will make that motion.
A second?
Commissioner Michael?
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh?
Yes.
Commissioner Dixon?
Yes.
Mayor Lyons?
Yes.
Motion carries.
The next request for motion before you is ordinance 2026-27, approving and authorizing the execution of an additional permit conditions agreement between the city of Braidwood and Matthew Daniel Graff. So this is, he can't get water, the water is about 400 feet from his lot, according to city codes and city ordinances. If you cannot get water within 75 feet, if water is further away than 75 feet, you can do a well. So, 1, we're allowing this gentleman to have a well for his project. 2 is that if water does get within 75 feet, he has to tap on to our water system and abandon the well. And so this is a good, because we don't have too many people on wells, right? So once we get the water there, he does have to tap on. This agreement memorializes his commitment to tap onto our water system if we get within 75 feet. And allows him to have a well in the meantime.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Commissioner Michael?
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh?
Yes.
Commissioner Dixon?
Yes.
Mayor Lyons?
Yes.
Motion carries.
And just, I'm gonna go through my reports, it's already 10 after 8, so I'll just do a few highlights. Lift station at Pheasant Chase and Shadow Lakes. The Shadow Lakes lift station is complete, and the, and Pheasant Run, my bad. Pheasant Chase, right? So Pheasant Run in Shadow Lakes, the Shadow Lakes station is done. The Pheasant Run repairs continue. We're hoping to have those done by, we're hoping by the 1st of May. It looks like it's gonna be pushed out to 1st of June. Selfie wall, the mayor talked about that. I just want to throw my thanks out to Danita for coming up with the idea, for Jeremy, for all the people that, everybody just kind of rallied around it. It was an awesome project. So big thanks out to Danita for getting this, for getting us the grant, and for coming up with this idea. Beautification, planting day, Mary talked about that. Karen, Sarah, she ordered the flowers, she picked the flowers up. She was again, did yeoman's work in organizing this. Special thanks to Sarah and to all the volunteers. And I was just so impressed that those 2 high school kids showed up, right? And I was very impressed with their mother. When we had pizza afterward, the mom came here and they were doing volunteering someplace else in front of a store, helping out, getting donations for somebody. Those kids are gonna make it, right? And they're gonna make it in life because the mom says you need to give back to your community and made those kids do community service for their high school, and they're gonna be two very successful young men in years to come. So that was awesome to see.
Steve, I think what impressed me was they weren't seniors either.
They were
weren't-
sophomores,
They were
right?
sophomores who were getting it done before it was time to graduate, and not the week before.
So I did tell my wife that I was volunteering to go plant flowers, and she said, how come you don't plant flowers around our house? But you will plant flowers in Braidwood. So thanks to Karen, I have to plant flowers at my house now on Mother's Day. So you're coming to my house to plant flowers.
And thank you, Steve, for caring about the city more than your.
Yeah, my house. I'm glad my wife can't see this broadcast, yes.
She'll find out.
She will. Well one update, so the well over here is done, it's been chlorinated, and it is operational. So thanks to Rob, once you start repairing something, you find a lot of things that are going wrong. And I told Rob, do it right, let's fix it, and he got it done. The last thing I'm gonna report on, two things, is the CDL training. The 2 employees have begun their training. Based on their schedules, it'll take 6 to 8 weeks, maybe a little bit longer to get that done, but 2 employees are there getting trained. And the last thing I want to touch on is the Main Street house that we became owners of. That was abandoned for 20 years or so. We've taken ownership of it. We did have the fire department take a look at it to see if it can be burned. It cannot. George got in there. The roof is unstable. It is a mess. So we are going to do a request for proposal. Brian is working on those proposal specs, and we're going to bring it out to the public, which we have to do by law anyway. We're going to have certain criteria on demo and rebuilding that lot into a single-family home or a residence, and we'll see what type of requests that we get for that particular lot. That will be forthcoming in the next month or so.
Steve, could you talk about the TIF vehicle payback?
The what?
The TIF vehicle payback?
Yes.
Front page.
So, without finding it on here, so our attorneys, Brian's firm is our new TIF attorneys. They have recommended that we come up with a payback plan on the TIF vehicles that were purchased. They are reluctant to sign off on a TIF report because vehicles were purchased using TIF dollars. They feel that that is an inappropriate expenditure. And so we had to take 38% of those vehicles, and we have to come back with a buyback plan. The attorneys agree with a buyback plan, and so we have not presented the buyback plan, but they signed the agreement stating that the city will commit to creating a buyback plan or a payback plan on those vehicles that were purchased using TIF dollars. Brian can talk about that more. I believe you were on that phone call. If there's any other questions regarding the TIF law.
It was generally summarized as accurate. We think that this is required.
So that buyback plan will be, or I'm sorry, payback plan, I say buyback. The payback plan will be presented to the council. We have to look at some administrative fees too, that we may have not charged off to the TIF. So we're gonna do a full TIF study over the last couple of years' expenditures and see where we could charge some of the administrative things to TIF, which is legal, and then where that leaves us with the vehicles, and then come back with a general fund payback plan from the general fund into the TIF. That is not budgeted. We did not want to get into the budget with that, but that's something that we would probably start next budget year. But as long as we have a plan in place, presented and approved by council, it satisfied the attorneys, Mr. Silverman and Brian, on signing that letter regarding the TIF report. Is that,
Yeah.
okay.
Do you have anything more?
I hope not.
All right. City Clerk, you're up next.
Nothing to report tonight, Mayor, thank you.
Engineer.
Nothing tonight, Mayor. We do have executive session tonight, just want to, under my report, we're going to go over executive session minutes.
Okay. City attorney, anything to report tonight?
Briefly, I don't know if you are all familiar, but the state legislature is proposing several changes to zoning authority with regards to housing. They're trying to address a
Yeah, I saw that.
housing shortage, and they are imposing changes, if passed, upon municipal zoning to require high-density housing wherever residential is allowed and so on. So it's a horrible bill, it's bad for municipal authority. So IML drafted a resolution that supports preserving municipal housing authority and opposing that bill. I don't know if it's something that the city.
Does that bill have juice to get passed, do you think, or?
The governor supports it.
Well, there you go.
And I think the biggest problem is that this doesn't affect Cook County at all. So they are very likely, all those legislators from Cook County are probably.
Most of your voters are coming from Cook County.
Yeah.
40%.
And it would affect those with, undeveloped residential areas, which are largely your more rural areas. So it's very possible, there have been a lot of letters sent to Springfield, but IML recently drafted a form resolution to oppose it. So if the city wants to do that, we can do that at the next meeting.
And so has the Will County Governmental League, they've done the same thing. And I encourage residents that if you have, access to your legislators via email or whatever, tell them, if you have a habit of talking to your legislators, tell them that this bill is absolutely terrible. It ties our hands regarding multifamily residential apartments, large multifamily projects. It ties municipal hands. And
It also requires smaller
lots.
minimum square footage requirements for housing too. So you can jam really small houses on
Really
really
little
small
lots.
Yeah,
And setbacks, they're also talking about
Airport, all
setbacks.
those houses are close together.
And they're talking about eliminating setbacks. So how this happened is the building lobby, the builder's lobby, the home builder's lobby said, hey, we can make, because the housing is obviously slow in Illinois. There's certain pockets that have decent housing. Most areas have very slow, except for multifamily apartments. And so the big home builders, the Pulte's, the Lennars, their lobbyists went to Springfield and say, hey, we can make some money if our lots are smaller, if we can build up, and we don't have to do all these setback variances and all these things that prohibit us from developing in a community. We could solve your housing problem if we could build smaller houses on smaller lots with less restrictions. And that's kind of how this started.
So it doesn't affect Chicago.
It does
The
not.
representatives from Chicago in Springfield are.
We'll probably vote in the affirmative.
I'm sure that.
We'll vote yes on this. It's a horrible bill. It's horrible government. It's horrible policy.
So how do you feel about
It's horrible.
it? All right. Reports by city committee, are you done? We
That's all I
got
have.
reports by
Yeah.
city commissioners. Council Finance.
Make a motion to approve payments of bills in the amount of $266,878.37.
I'll second.
Commissioner Dixon?
Yes.
Commissioner Michael?
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh?
Yes.
Mayor Lyons?
Yes.
Motion carries.
I'll make a motion to approve payroll in the amount of $103,993.40.
I will second that.
Commissioner Dixon?
Yes.
Commissioner Michael?
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh?
Yes.
Mayor Lyons?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, I only have two things. The TIF review, the TIF audit is complete. The report's been filed with the controller's office. So we're shooting for a TIF review meeting in May, and we'll hold the meeting before a regular scheduled city council meeting. The 25 audit is in the first review stage, so that's good news. With any luck, we'll have a draft copy by the end of this week, fingers crossed. This puts the audit completion about a month ahead of time, and this will help reduce the fines that we are getting fined every day from the comptroller.
All right, thank you. Streets and public improvements, delegated?
Yes, Mayor, a few things. We're looking for part-time summer help. So if a junior laborer, high school student is interested, contact myself at dwalsh@braidwood, it's .gov now, correct?
Correct.
dwalsh@braidwood.gov, or our foreman, Scott Howard, if you're interested. Also, a pump was installed out at the Easy Street Pond. It looks really nice. It's lit at night. It looks nice going by there. I want to thank the guys for doing that. And just with all the rain, we've had more puddling than in the last 2 years. It's been pretty light the last 2 springs. So all we can, if it's a problem where if it's our responsibility, let us know. If it's on private property, chances are we cannot do anything about that. We're getting some more requests for ditch filling with the pipe, the co-op that we do with residents, where the pipe is charged to the resident, the labor is done by our, our streets crew. And that is it for streets, Mayor.
So let me ask you a question. As far as, one, is it in the budget? Did you ask for summer help in the budget? So is that built in there? Because we did give you guys 2 more employees from last summer. So I just want to make sure that that was in the budget for summer help.
There isn't any.
Last summer, we had 1 person help out.
But we've hired 2 full-timers
We've
since
hired
then.
2 full-time, there's nothing left for.
So I just want to make sure that we get that worked out until we follow our hiring policy. So should they come to City Hall, fill out an application, instead of a commissioner having an application maybe with somebody's social security, maybe we should have a jacket, talk with Sarah, have them come, we'll put it on our page if we're gonna hire summer help, and make sure everything is done through City Hall, they fill out an application, you come in, review them, and do your interviews, or pick your, how you pick them.
Yes, that's fine, but you're right, it's not in the budget.
It's not budgeted. And what's the age limit?
That was a question for the attorney, can we, like a part-timer, can they, because I know there's contracts, can they work on a rider, or they push more, or they weed whack, could we hire
Chances of them operating much machinery is pretty slim.
Yeah.
So weed whacking.
I'm in favor, it's nice if we can get some summer help that's at a lower labor rate, I get that. I just don't know if that was built, so we just
I don't think it was.
built into the budget, and we do have 2 more, you guys have 2 more full-time employees than you did last summer, I think.
I think 1.
No, 2.
Well, each
One in
department.
water and 1 in streets.
okay.
So, and I don't know if they help out with, like, if we have an event coming up, or, that's all. I just wanna make sure, we didn't pass a policy on a hiring policy, I just wanna make sure we follow that policy, so that's all.
Dale, when I asked from you and Warren if there was anything you wanted, I never got a
I
response
didn't even
on
think of
of part-time, so they were not put in there.
No, I didn't even think.
And I get
That
that.
was brought up to me recently, and I didn't even think of it.
Okay.
So that's.
Well, we're gonna do an administrative change
Yeah.
to that anyway, so.
So it's something, we can talk about it, and just figure out if it's something that we
Yeah,
need.
if it's a high school student, it's 3 months or less.
And 2, just we gotta make sure that they pick up their application here, because there's gonna be personal information on there. We just gotta make sure we follow our hiring policy. And second, can we hire, can a 16, 17-year-old kid work?
So just to answer that question, there is nothing in our policy that says you have to hire anybody at a certain age. The state law is 16 or over, or you have to have a waiver from your high school, from a counselor or somebody at the high school that says that they can work if they're 15. I'm not sure who has to sign off for that at the high school, we can find out, but I believe 16, and then there's some exceptions with that waiver.
So like, because we might make some amendments, just figure out how many hours you're gonna use, and then get with Liz or Steve and let them know,
Okay.
what to pay, and just make sure we just follow the policy.
Okay.
All right. Sorry, do you have anything else? I apologize.
No,
Okay, next, public buildings and property. Warren is not here. Did he give you anything, or did you communicate with him at all?
he did, and I just thought I'd start with this motion that we
Okay.
had for him.
Yeah.
And since it has something to do with the bidding process, I was just gonna read the summary real quick. Should I read the motion first, or just gonna go through the?
It's up to you. The most proper way is motion second, then discussion, but.
Okay, well, we've got a motion to approve ordinance 2026-28, waiving competitive bidding and approving quotes from Adler Roofing and Sheet Metal regarding roof and related repairs.
I'll make the motion.
I think he made the motion, you
I'll
did the
second.
second.
Sorry.
And so we'll just, the summary real quick and the recommendation, the city of Braidwood pursuant to authority granted under section 238 of the Illinois Municipal Code has determined it is necessary and expedient to undertake repairs to certain city-owned buildings. In order to complete these improvements in a timely and cost-effective manner, the corporate authorities have approved the proposals from Adler Roofing and Sheet Metal Incorporated attached as Group Exhibit A in the total amount of $169,390 and have by at least a 2/3 Exhibit A in the total, 2/3 vote, waive the competitive bidding requirements. The mayor is further authorized or his designee to execute any and all documents necessary to implement the approved work and carry out the intent of the ordinance.
So, I have a question. We're waiving the bidding because what?
Because, and that's the next part here, Liz,
Okay.
I've got, it does explain it, let's see, instead of reading the whole thing, except that due to the specialized nature of the work and limited availability of qualified union roofing contractors in the region. As previously experienced during their prior bid solicitations, the city has determined that going out for competitive bids has historically resulted in a lack of sufficient qualified responses, thereby limiting viable options for timely and compliant project completion.
Steve, you negotiated this too with them, right? I mean, you
Yeah,
worked
yeah,
with-
so the main, what Dale says is absolutely right. When we looked at the salt dome last year, the 3 flat roofs, I think we did in Public Works, right, George? There are 3 flat roofs? Yeah, 3 flat roofs in Public Works. We had some really low quotes, but they were non-union quotes. And so we decided to go with union. There were only 2 union companies that bid on it. And Rob was very happy with Adler. And the quotes were pretty much the same, right? You get union wages, everything is pretty much the same. What kind of tilted the pendulum over here to Adler is they're willing to put $7,300 worth of free flashing on 2 buildings. There was some discrepancy on if there was a bidder in the bid or if it wasn't in the bid. And part of this was, hey, you know what, we award you guys the bid, will you forego this flashing cost of $7,300? They said yes, and so I felt it was a very good bid. It was consistent with the bids that were done last year, consistent with both bids, union bidders we had last year, and they were throwing in the free flashing. On top of, they were very happy with their work, and so you add those together, that's why I recommended to you guys to waive the bids and to award it to Adler Roofing.
Thank you, Steve.
Yes. I still think it's a good deal. It's a company we are very happy with, and they have a portfolio from here to Indiana as far as how many roofs they've done. The guys are very qualified, and the pricing is virtually the same. So, and then also the third thing is we would hire Sean's company to put together bid specs, which would cost us $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 to put together bid specs, and the bids are gonna be pretty much the same as we know anyway, so I think we're saving money by waiving the bids and by negotiating and getting a better price.
And just unnecessary delays to get this done, that's, the bottom line.
I just worry about waiving bids. It gets to the point where you're gonna buy something, you're waiving a bid. I don't wanna get to that point.
Now, I'll answer that question. So I've been involved in about $200 million worth of bidding, And there are times when, for an example, steel bids, right? There's two steel companies that are Union in Will County that do the bidding. And so I've always recommended to my council, when there's not a big pool of bidders, steel, elevators, roofers down in Braidwood, when there's not a lot of bidders that are out there, you save money when you negotiate. Because these bidders know, hey, it's my, this time I'll get the bid, next time you get the bid, wink, wink, right? Back and forth. And I have found that negotiating certain bids saves the city money, and I think this is one of the times where it is justified, and I get where you're coming from, Liz, but I think it saves the city money because we went through a bidding process already on this particular project.
Commissioner, go ahead.
And to approve, we will need all four.
Commissioner Walsh,
Yes.
Commissioner Michael,
Yes.
Commissioner Dixon,
Yes.
Mayor Lyons,
Yes.
motion carries.
And just report for, one that Warren had, one new MXU install, 3 final reads, 102 locates. There was one water leak. The sink was repaired at the zoo, 7-meter repairs, and monthly water reads. And that is all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, public health and safety.
All right, I'm gonna need a motion to approve ordinance 2026-29, authorizing and execution of the approval of the side letter agreement between the city of Braidwood and the Policeman's Labor Committee to modify and the existing collective bargaining agreement. Before that, I want to give a little summary on it. In effort to retain the officers that we invested in, staff is recommending accepting the attached side letter agreements for the Policeman's Labor Committee. This side letter amends only section 14.1, wage schedule and collective bargaining agreement. Currently, it takes our officers 15 years to reach top pay on wage scale. The length of the time to reach the pay is not only unreasonable, but is very uncommon in the industry. The proposed amendment to the wage scale does not change starting or top pay for our patrol officers. It only amends the number of years it takes to reach top pay. The proposed amendment reduces the number of years to reach top pay from 15 years to 6 years. This is more in line with the neighboring comparable agencies.
I'll second.
And this is in the budget, correct, Liz? We did account for this in the budget.
Yes.
To summarize this, one of the biggest challenges in being chief of police in a small community is retaining your officers. So you have to maintain a competitive salary and benefits. If you go on any website that's called theblueline.com, every major department in Cook County, DuPage County, Will County are trying to steal officers from small departments. So when Chief came to us and proposed this, he said, hey, I think this is beneficial. We have good officers that we want to retain, and I think this is beneficial. I respect what his idea is, because it is a challenge for a small department. We do have very good young officers here at our department, and if we want to keep them, again, it didn't change the starting salary, it didn't change the top, we just reduced the steps. In an effort to, we want to keep the guys that we have. I think we're in line with our agencies around us. Look at the contract, at least Coal City, yeah, we're pretty accurate. So good job, good idea.
Okay, I also have a police activity report from April 14th.
We gotta vote on this.
I'm sorry. My bad. I thought you did it.
Commissioner Michael,
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh,
Yes.
Commissioner Dixon,
Yes.
Mayor Lyons,
Yes.
motion carries.
All right. For the police activity report from April 14th to April 27th, we had 275 calls for service. We had 30 case reports. We had 4 arrests. Total arrest charges were 11. We had total number of traffic stops were 99. Citations were 29. Written warnings 61. Semi-truck violations were 1, and total of P tickets were 21. And for ordinance 25-35 for code enforcement, we had a total of 18, and by tow we had 0. So it's working very well. Chief. Good job. And on Thursday, April 23rd, Officer Ashton Harvey graduated from a 16-week police academy, and he had started his 16-week field training program today. And on Friday, May 1st, Code Enforcement Officer Ricky Cornelli is transitioning from his role as a Code Enforcement Officer to his new role as Community Service Officer. Code Enforcement Officer is just one of many duties of the Community Service Officer. Congratulations, CSO Cornelli, on his new assignments. And that's all I have, Mayor. Chief, you have anything to add to that?
No, he's excited for the new role. I've gotten to know, now Community Service Officer Cornelli over the last 8 months. He's a great asset. He's wanted to do more. He's expressed that to me, and this provides an opportunity to do more. I think he's well liked in the community. The code enforcement side is not an easy thing to do. It's a thankless assignment. He does it well, but this will give an opportunity to do more than just the enforcement side. You know, he can do some more to help the town. So he'll do stuff like fingerprinting and loose animals and running stuff, supporting the fleet.
State's Attorney's Office, yeah.
State's Attorney's Office, supporting the fleet, moving fleet to the shop for repairs. Some stuff that our officers, you know, spend time doing that he's more than willing to help out with. So it's going to be a great transition for him.
Is he gonna be in a uniform, a different uniform?
Slightly different. It'll be a little bit different uniform, yep. Yep,
Yeah, again, that's a good idea.
thank you.
That's all I have there.
All right, is anybody for planning and zoning?
Just the next planning and zoning meeting is May 27th, 2026 at 7 PM. We have a variance for Mastodon that is going to be discussion. They have signs that we need to get some variances from.
All right, next on the agenda is old business. Anybody have any old business they want to bring up, talk about?
Real quick, the fire department committee is meeting tomorrow evening at the Recuster, the elementary school cafeteria at 6 PM. They were here last city council meeting asking for people to come out. They're trying to figure out what to do with the fire department. There was an article about maybe having to raise taxes. So if we want to keep our fire department going, we need to get in and make some suggestions. That's it.
Obviously, being around town, that's one of the biggest assets that we have in our community is our fire department. I have not been able to attend one of the meetings yet, but I think they're kind of trying to get input from the public and see if there is certain needs where they may need more funds. Anybody else have anything for old business?
No. Anything to add, Josh? Did I get it all right? The time's right? Okay.
Okay, new business.
Just new business, I just have one
Yeah.
item I just want to present. So we are going to planning and zoning for the Mastodon, as I just mentioned, on, it says 18th here, but I believe it's going to be the 27th. Yeah, that's going to change. So the Mastodon is currently constructing the fuel station, as you guys know, on the corner of Division Street and Coal City Road. As part of their prior annexation approval, the city granted a variation for the project's signage. However, the developer is now requiring and requesting an increased pole sign height to 28 feet 4 inches instead of the previously approved 20 feet, and a sign area of 150 square feet versus the 100 square feet. So a rendering has been provided for reference. It's in your packet. We are going to require brick if we're going to allow this variance. We want some trade-off, and the trade-off is, hey, we will recommend as staff the variance. However, we want a brick base to the sign. It's an entrance into Braidwood, and we want it to look very nice. We even talking to them to say maybe put a welcome to Braidwood on that brick facade. So we're working with that right now. And that's going to be before planning and zoning, and they will come back for approval to you for the sign variance.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Does anyone have any idea how high the sign is across the highway by the gas and wash?
I do not.
Okay, I'm just wondering. if
Yeah,
you're-
that's pretty high.
For a reference, yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
our-
pretty high.
So theirs will be lower.
I would think so. That one's pretty high.
It is.
But yeah, you're right. As reference, George, you're probably better at that than I
Well,
am.
they got two signs. They do have a different sign that's higher for the interstate, you know.
Correct.
It sits off to the back.
That's gotta be like
This is their sign up
45,
front.
50 feet, isn't it?
Sign up front at Division?
Yeah, it's gotta be,
113 there?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So they have two separate signs, but I was looking at the plans. They have one that's probably 100 feet or 80 feet, I don't remember, for highway traffic. This is the one that's just in front of their business.
Okay.
And it's because in front of our business, we just didn't want to pull, so we're requesting just a brick base, just because it's the entrance to our town. And also too, Steve, have you any updates on our new Welcome to Braidwood signs? Did you have an update, talk to that guy?
Yeah, so, there's an agreement that I gave to Brian. Brian gave it to me. I have not given the changes back to the gentleman yet, but he is moving forward with 2 signs. One for sure on Reed Road, Kennedy, right there by Kankakee Street where our current sign is at. It's a little bit further to the east, but right in that area. And we're also working with Mastodon on putting an entrance sign right there as well, on the Mastodon property or right in that area. So those are 2 locations that we're currently working on. He does not have our comments. I have not given our comments back to him as of yet.
Anybody have any, I mentioned something about new business when we were talking today, that was the house, all right? Remember I said I wanted to bring
Yes,
something
we're
up for new
going to
business?
go out and put an RFQ together, correct.
All right, anybody else have anything for new business to bring up? Okay, next on the agenda, we have executive session. I need a motion to go into executive
There'll
session.
be no announcements.
I'm sorry, what?
There'll be no announcements.
Yeah, so if you wanna go home, we come back, you're not gonna miss anything.
Here, Todd.
There will be a report. So we're going in close, to review closed session meeting minutes, so we'll
We'll
report
report
what our decision is on the
when we
closed
come
session.
back, on the executive, okay. So I need a motion to go into executive session to discuss the appointment, employment, compensation,
Hold on.
just,
No, not all that.
It'll be to review, closed session meeting minutes under 5 ILCS 120/2C21.
I'll make
Okay.
that motion.
I'll second.
Commissioner Dixon?
Yes.
Commissioner Michael?
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh?
Yes.
Mayor Lyons?
yes.
Motion carries.
No.
Cookies and coffee before I take it.
Ooh.